The ugly truth: social media giants don't want you to know how they're secretly manipulating your brain for profit. Introduction. A wake-up call. Have you ever found yourself mindlessly scrolling through social media for hours, even when you didn't mean to? Or felt anxious if you stepped away from your phone for too long in case you missed an important notification? I know I've been there. It wasn't until I started analyzing platform behaviors and user psychology that the light bulb went off. Social media companies are deliberately exploiting vulnerabilities in human nature to addict us to their products. I was shocked but also fascinated to learn the science behind it. That discovery became a wake-up call for me. As a growth hacker focused on analytics and optimization, I realized I needed to more deeply understand these psychological triggers if I wanted to ethically drive engagement. So I dove headfirst into researching motivation science, behaviorism, and how our brains evolved over millennia. What I found was truly eye-opening. Social platforms have figured out exactly which psychological buttons to push through A/B testing millions of users. They're not just enhancing features, they're leveraging primal human instincts against us without many realizing it. In this video, I want to unpack the key triggers platforms use so pervasively, from social approval to variable rewards. My hope is bringing this topic to light will help both marketers and users make more informed decisions moving forward. Are you ready to get into the psychology behind your social addiction? Then let's start uncovering the hidden forces at play. Segment 1. The desire for social approval. Have you ever double-tapped a photo without really thinking about it? Or felt a rush of excitement when you saw a notification that someone liked your post? I know I've been there. As social animals, we have an innate need for acceptance from our peers. Back in caveman days, being part of the tribe meant survival. So our brains evolved to seek approval through likes and comments, just like monkeys grooming each other for status. I remember the first time I consciously noticed the power of a single like. It was right after I posted a selfie while on vacation in Bali. As the notifications rolled in, I felt a rush of dopamine with each heart. By the 10th like, I was beaming. That got me thinking, what was really going on in my brain in that moment? So I started digging into motivation science. Turns out, getting approval activates the same reward pathways as eating or sex. It's literally addictive on a biological level. And of course, the platforms know this. Every heart, comment or share is a hit of that sweet dopamine keeping us clicking back. It's no wonder perfect photos get the most engagement. We're all chasing that natural high. The insights I gained really opened my eyes to how skillfully social platforms have hacked our psychology. In the next segment, I'll explore another vulnerability they leverage to keep the engagement rolling. Segment 2. Herd mentality. Have you ever found yourself mindlessly scrolling through your feed, not really paying attention? I know I've been there countless times. But one day, as I scrolled in a daze, something caught my eye, a video with over 10,000 views. My curiosity was piqued. Why was this blowing up? So I clicked to find out. As the video played, I could see why it was so engaging. The editing was snappy, the jokes landed, and before I knew it I had watched the whole 3 minutes. Then suddenly I had the urge to share it with friends. This got me thinking about herd behavior. As social creatures, we're wired to follow the crowd for safety. So when we see something trending, our brains subconsciously nudge us to engage with it too. The platforms leverage this by featuring popular posts prominently. When you see a video with millions of views, it triggers that instinct to join the pack. Suddenly you're tapping, commenting and sharing without a second thought. It's no wonder viral hits spread like wildfire. By identifying trends, the platforms can stimulate our primal urge to follow the leader, keeping us all marching to the same beat. In the next segment, I'll delve into another engagement driving factor. Segment 3. FOMO and variable rewards. Have you ever scrolled through Instagram stories, watching your friends living their best lives, while feeling left out sitting at home? I know I've been there. One Saturday night, I opened Instagram and was hit with story after story of people at parties, concerts, cute dates, while I was home alone in my pajamas. That's when I first realized, I have FOMO. The fear of missing out is a very real psychological phenomenon. As social animals, we're wired to stay connected, lest we lose relevance in our tribe. The platforms leverage this fear to keep us constantly checking in. But it's not just FOMO, they also play with variable rewards. Some days my posts blow up, other days they flop. I never knew when I'd get that dopamine rush. This got me thinking, was it all just chance? So I started tracking my metrics and noticed a pattern. In the next segment, I'll discuss the real downsides of these engagement tactics. Segment 4, the hidden downsides. For a long time, I was oblivious to how social media was affecting my mental health. I just saw it as mindless entertainment in my downtime. But one day, I realized I was spending hours every day scrolling without pause. I was constantly checking for likes and comments like it was oxygen. FOMO was ruling my life. If I didn't watch every story, I felt out of the loop. It hit me that my relationship with these platforms had become toxic. I was addicted to the dopamine hits and social validation, even though it was making me miserable. That's when I decided to do a 30-day social media detox. Going cold turkey was brutal, the withdrawal symptoms were real, but it gave me clarity and an epiphany. These companies had been exploiting vulnerabilities in my psychology without a second thought. It was a real wake-up call about how little they care about user well-being, prioritizing engagement and data extraction over ethics. I realized I had a responsibility to use my growth hacking skills more consciously from now on. In the conclusion, I'll discuss moving forward in a healthier way. But this journey really showed me the importance of understanding how platforms impact our mental health behind the scenes. Conclusion. A path forward. My month away from social media brought much-needed perspective. I realized that while these platforms can be useful tools, their business model relies on keeping us addicted without regard for well-being. As marketers, it's our job to understand user psychology, but it's also our responsibility to leverage those insights consciously and avoid manipulation. Going forward, I'm committed to optimizing engagement through genuine connection instead of psychological tricks. I also realized that moderation is key for my own mental health. Now I set limits on my time and have muted notifications on most accounts to avoid getting sucked into an endless scroll. Unfollowing accounts that don't serve me frees up space for real-world experiences. My hope is that more users and companies will start prioritizing wellness over metrics alone. While the platforms aren't likely to change overnight, we can influence culture through thoughtful discussion and advocacy. I'm still a work in progress, but this journey has made me a more mindful marketer and a healthier person. My new mission is to help spread awareness of these important issues so that social media can empower lives instead of ruling them. The real change begins within each of us. I hope this discussion sheds some light on the intricate psychology intertwined with our social media usage. While platforms exist to drive engagement, it's up to each of us to find a balanced, mindful approach. Remember, you have the power to curate your own experience. Take breaks when needed. Mute notifications that tempt endless scrolling. Follow accounts that enrich your life rather than stress you out. Use the insights of growth hackers, but don't forget your own well-being. Your real-world relationships and experiences will always matter far more than any like or comment. This is just the beginning of the conversation around social impact. I encourage you to do your own research and reflect critically on your habits. Together, through open dialogue, we can foster healthier norms moving forward. Thank you for joining me on this thought-provoking journey. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to Life of Psychology. I hope the takeaway is greater self-awareness and empowerment over any single platform. Please share your own perspectives. I'm always looking to expand my understanding. Most of all, don't be too hard on yourself. Balance and moderation are ongoing practices, not perfect states. Go forth with compassion for others and yourself. The real change begins from within.